The topic of this video, guys, is going to be about how hard can you go? How hard can you go? Such an interesting topic. How hard can you go? What am I getting at? I'm basically, how much work can you do before you want to just fall onto your bed and go to sleep? How much can you actually achieve in your life before you just want to fall asleep on your bed? I don't know. How hard can you go? You know, like, do you know someone called David Goggins? That guy is like a very inspirational guy. Basically, he's like a very intense athlete. He goes on like these like long runs. He runs a lot of miles. He does a lot of physical activity, and he's like super healthy and fit. David Goggins is like the perfect example for this video. How hard can you go before you want to just fall asleep on your bed? He's like, look into David Goggins. But anyway, he's like, I don't want to talk too much about him, but like he's like perfectly illustrates what I'm getting at in this video. Like basically, in a nutshell, David Goggins, like he was like a type of amateur person, and then he got very much into like a lot of physical exercise and exercising a lot. And then he became like some sort of like intense athlete, and he's like going on like these runs across the world. Not really across the world, maybe like across like large portions of land. He was like he's like a very intense athlete basically now, David Goggins. But he's like such an interesting personality, and he really demonstrates like us human beings really, we assume that we're so limited in certain ways, but really that's just a product of our own imagination. These limitations aren't actually real. We can actually far exceed our own perceived like limitations. Like what you think you can do, you can actually do a lot more. And just look into the life of David Goggins. He was like quite a fat ass guy. He was so amateurish. He was like such a fat person. It wasn't anything unique or special, but he's now like a very intense athlete because he was really pushing himself very hard, running like distances, large amounts of distances, running miles and miles, becoming like some sort of intense athlete person. And he's like quite respectable, guys. But how hard can you go? It's such an interesting question. Where do you think your limitations are? Honestly, guys, if you think about it carefully, your limitations aren't actually where they actually are, where you want them to be. They're actually far above your own head. Because we always like underestimate ourselves. We don't think that we're capable of anything great, but that's really because we don't really put a lot of work in, guys. I always like to say that if you put a tremendous amount of work in within reason, obviously, if you want to be like a great physicist like Albert Einstein, you're gonna need some brain. You're gonna have to have like some type of like genetics about that. You're gonna have like the genetics for high intelligence. So you want to be like the best type of singer or something like that. You're gonna have like there are like certain genetic qualities and limits that we all have, and certain genetic like things that come from your genetics that you can't really control that, and those are like actual real life limitations and stuff. And how you're born is like very important. You might because if you have Asperger's, Down syndrome, that's gonna play a part in everything, but typically we think the limitations we think of ourselves is typically those limitations aren't actually real. We can do more than what's above our heads, basically. You know what I mean? These limitations are pretty much just figments of our imagination. And David Goggins illustrates this because he was like an amateurish person, and then he became a fucking intense athlete now and stuff. And he's kind of like, is he really that popular? I don't know. I'm not too sure about it, but he's like a very interesting personality that you guys need to look into. But how hard can you go? Such an important, interesting topic. Got it written down somewhere. How hard can you go, guys, before you want to fall asleep onto your bed? We always like see ourselves in such a limited way that we can't do certain things because we just weren't born to do those things. We always have like a fixed mindset. You want to have the opposite of this. You want to have like a growth mindset that if you put the hours in within reason, obviously, certain things like you're gonna become like a space traveler. I don't know. Certain things are like impossible right now. Like you want to live on the sun or something dumb like that. You want to become a superhuman person. Like you want to be like Superman and fly around with no like technological apparatus. I don't know. Certain things are like impossible, but within reason, like how hard can you go? Like if you put in a tremendous amount of hard work, you can actually become pretty decent at a lot of different things. Think about like singing. Is that genetic, or can you actually improve your singing voice? I'm of the opinion, guys, that you can actually put in some work. Singing lessons, I think that's going to go a long way to helping you improve your singing voice. I think that all of like your life, if you want to like become like very good at certain things, I think all it takes is just a tremendous amount of hard work. Obviously, certain limitations exist, obviously, because I know that your genetics do play a part in everything. Obviously, 100% they do. Anyone that tells you that your genetics are irrelevant, they're fucking bullshitting you. So obviously, for sure, your genetics are going to play a part in everything that you do in life. Your capabilities and your qualities, all of that comes from your genetics, for sure. but you can like exceed the limits, but you can sort in some slight ways exceed your genetic limitations, if that makes sense. Like David Goggins, was he like, because he was like an amateurist person, a very fat person, like not really too fat, but he was like kind of chubby, not really anything interesting, but he became an intense athlete, guys. He ran a lot, he did a lot of physical activity. He could have just turned into, he could have just stayed a fat shit, but he put in the work, and he's now like an intense athlete, and he can run miles now. What you think you're capable of, guys, is like, it's not even half the truth. You're capable of so much more than you believe and you want to think. Put in the hard work, guys. That's so important. Going the extra mile, putting the work in, forcing your heart to race, being like very committed, dedicated, all of that, putting in the hours, the sweat and tears. That's so important, guys. If you're not willing to put in the sweat and tears, you're gonna be a fucking bum. You're gonna be a loser. You're not gonna get onto anything meaningful, are you, guys? The sweat and tears, that is so important, guys. Willing to work for hours and hours on end until you get what you want. That's so important, guys. Within reason, obviously, maybe even without reason, you can still like put in. If you put the hours into something, you're gonna get some. There has to be some type of result after that, right? If you put the hours into something, whatever it is, like you put you train your singing voice. You practice singing for like hours and hours every day. You're gonna be able to do something decent with your mouth. Obviously, that's to contribute to something. All that hard work's going to lead somewhere. But anyway, really think about this, guys. How hard can you go? How hard can you go, guys, before you want to just fall asleep on your mattress, before you just want to call it quits? How hard can you go before you just want to like lie down on the bed? I think that David Goggins perfectly illustrates this. I think that we just see ourselves as being very limited, and so we think that we can't really do a tremendous amount of hard work. But really, that's just a product of our own minds. We actually can do a lot more than we think. Think maybe you might need to drink a couple of coffees. You might need to drink some coffee to like, kind of give you that like electric buzz in your brain. But guys, I 100% believe that we're capable of like doing so many different. We're all like, we all have like a type of potential in us. We're so much more capable than we would like to believe ourselves to be. We just like to have these self-limiting beliefs. You fix the mindset that you have to, you just weren't born into the right family, you don't have the right genetics, you don't have the right IQ, height, these physiological characteristics, you don't have the right ones because you weren't born in a specific way, so you're a loser and you have to just deal with being a loser. These like, this like very like horrendous, like almost like a nihilistic view on life, like that everything is like pretty much just predetermined, and you have to just deal with the cards that you're dealt, and you're very limited and you can't really grow and improve yourself. Don't have this type of mentality, guys. Think to yourselves, even if it's like a delusion, just pretend, like fucking dupe your brain. Think about like how you're capable of doing anything, guys. Anything. Have that growth mindset that you can achieve anything within reason. And if you put in the sweat and tears and a tremendous amount of hard work, you can achieve anything. Doesn't matter how you're born, what family you come from, or whatever, any of that. Doesn't matter about any of these like things that are beyond your control. You can achieve what you actually want to achieve if you put in a tremendous amount of hard work. That's so important, guys. Just pretend like you can achieve whatever you want to achieve if you put in a tremendous amount of hard work. That's gonna make you go a long way, guys. How hard can you go? In terms of like physical activity, I'm into weight training. For me, it's like 40 reps and my arms fucking tire out. I wonder what would happen if I just kept fucking lifting weights all day. That probably ruined my musculature. I'm probably gonna get certain like problems with my arms. I don't know. Imagine, has anyone ever did that? Some certain individual who's like into bodybuilding, exercising, and he just trained weights all day. Has anyone ever did that? That is like such a ordeal. If anyone's ever done that, I'll be very much interested to learn about that person. Has any human being ever just trained weights all day, 24/7 out? That's like, if you're like a fitness YouTuber, that's like a nice, interesting challenge for you guys. Train weights for 24/7 for 24 hours without dropping the weights. You just have to keep repping. Do like 1 billion reps in a day. That would be so interesting. If you can do it, I'll give you like a massive like applause with my hands. I'll clap my hand like this, and you'll get like your recognition for your hard work and that goal that you achieved that I set out for you. Anyway, but how hard can you go? David Goggins is such a great example. He was just a fat amateurish person, but but then something happened to him. Something clicked in his head, and he just was all about physical activity and exercising, and he just got so into that. And now he's like running marathons, and he's like some type of intense athlete. What you think you're capable of, guys, is like not even half the truth. You're able to do so much more with your life, guys. All you have to do is just put in the sweat and tears, Try as hard as you can, guys, and you can make it. Fucking think about this so carefully, and that's about it.